Shapley was an American scientist and was born on a farm 5 miles outside Nashville, Missouri, United States on November 2nd of 1885. Harlow Shapley was the son of a locally known farmer as well as school teacher, Willis Shapley, and his mother, Sarah Stowell. Harlow, attending a local schoolhouse, received a basic 5th grade level of education. He worked as a journalist after studying at home and covering crime stories as a newspaper reporter for the Daily Sun in Chanute, Kansas, and intermittently for the Times of Joplin, Missouri. In Chanute, he found a Carnegie library and started reading and studying on his own. Shapley returned to complete a 6-year high school program in 1.5 years, graduating as class valedictorian. In 1907, Shapley went to the University of Missouri to study journalism. When he learned that the opening of the School of Journalism had been postponed for a year, he decided to study the first subject he came across in the course directory. Rejecting archaeology, which Shapley later claimed he could not pronounce, he chose the next subject, astronomy. Talking about his career in the early years, after his graduation, Shapley received a fellowship to Princeton University for graduate work, where he studied under Henry Norris Russell and used the period luminosity relation for Cepheid variable stars, and it was also discovered by Henrietta Swan Leavitt to determine distances to global clusters. He was instrumental in moving astronomy away from the idea that Cepheids were spectroscopic binaries and toward the concept that they were pulsators. He realized that the Milky Way galaxy was far larger than previously believed, and that the Sun's place in the galaxy was a nondescript location. This discovery supports the Copernican principle, according to which the Earth is not at the center of our solar system, our galaxy, or our universe. Shapley used the Cepheid variable stars to estimate the size of the Milky Way galaxy and the Sun's position within it by using parallax. The Great Debate of 1920. Shapley participated in the Great Debate with Heber D. Curtis on the nature of nebulae and galaxies and the size of the universe. The debate took place on April 16, 1920, in the hall of the United States National Academy of Sciences in Washington, D.C. Shapley took the side that spiral nebulae, what are now called galaxies, are inside our Milky Way, while Curtis took the side that the spiral nebulae are island universes, far outside our own Milky Way and comparable in size and nature to our own Milky Way. This issue and debate are the start of extragalactic astronomy, while the detailed arguments and data, often with ambiguities, appeared together in 1921. Now, let us proceed to his personal life. Harlow Shapley married Martha Betts in April 1914, whom he had met in Missouri. She assisted her husband in astronomical research both at Mount Wilson and at Harvard Observatory. She wrote numerous articles on eclipsing stars and other astronomical objects. They had only one daughter, editor and writer Mildred Shapley Matthews, and 4 sons. These included Lloyd Shapley, a mathematician and economist who won a Nobel Memorial Prize in Economics in 2012, and Willis Shapley, who became a senior executive service leader at NASA. Although Harlow Shapley was an agnostic, he was greatly interested in religion. Shapley died in a nursing home in Boulder, Colorado on October 20, 1972, shortly before his 87th birthday. The awards that Shapley received are the Henry Draper Medal of the National Academy of Sciences in 1926, Prix Jules Janssen of the Société Astronomique de France, 1933, Rumford Prize of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, 1933, Gold Medal of the Royal Astronomical Society, 1934, Bruce Medal of the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, 1939, Janssen Medal from the French Academy of Sciences in 1940, Pio XI Medal in 1941, and the Franklin Medal, who was given in 1945. Also named after him are the crater Shapley on the Moon, asteroid 1123 Shapley, Shapley supercluster, Harlow Shapley visiting lectureships in astronomy, American Astronomical Society. Before the anti-communist phrase "better dead than red" became popular during McCarthyism in the 1950s. Dr. Shapley said in a 1947 speech entitled Peace or Pieces that a slave world is not worth preserving. Better be lifeless like the cold moon, or primitively vegetal like desolate Mars, than be a planet populated by social robots. Shapley wrote many books in astronomy and sciences. Among these was the source book in astronomy, New York, McGraw-Hill in 1929, and was co-written with Helen E. Howarth, also on the staff of the Harvard College Observatory. The first of the publisher's series of source books in the history of the sciences. In 1953, he wrote The Liquid Water Belt, which gave scientific credence to the ecosphere theory of Hubertus Strughold. In his 1957 book of Stars and Men, Shapley proposed the term metagalaxies for what are now called superclusters. Shapley attended Institute on Religion in an Age of Science conferences at Star Island and was the editor of the book Science Ponders Religion in 1960. In 1972, Shapley published a book named Galaxies, the Harvard Books on Astronomy, Harvard University. Through Rugged Ways to the Stars, 1969. Beyond the Observatory, 1967. The View from a Distant Star, Man's Future in the Universe, 1964. Source Book in Astronomy, 1900s to 1950. Source Books in the History of the Sciences, Harvard University Press.
Harlow Shapley was an outstanding man of his time.
He was an astronomer, educator, author, orator, as well as man of affairs. Some of his gifts, displayed prominently in the course of his life, may gradually fall in oblivion as those of us who knew him in his prime may no longer be here to remember, and dust may settle of some of his work, or on his many honors bestowed upon him by his contemporaries. But one title to fame will never tarnish: Shapley's discovery of the center of our galaxy and of our position within it.